So next on the list of videos that we need to take a look at, we have the class introduction. This is from a few days ago, like I mentioned beforehand. If you're just watching this video, you haven't seen any other ones. We've got some Slayer info we need to catch up on. I have fallen a little bit behind. Apologies, but we'll be catching up on everything. If you guys want to keep up with content that's coming out for Slayer, basically as it rolls out, I'm gonna leave a link or a pinned comment in. So I'll leave a link in the video description or a pinned comment. My buddy Nova's channel, who is covering basically all the Slayer information as it pops live. Since he'll be swapping over to Slayer, you'll see tons of Slayer content over on his channel. So if that's something you're looking for, by all means, do me a favor, check him out. But if you're just looking for my responses, my reactions, my information to all the Slayer news that's popping up, I will be playing Slayer. I won't be maining Slayer. We'll be checking it out. I'll likely be using it as a subclass, as well as messing around with the new Gunblade weapon, because hey, why not play with the new stuff? But let's go ahead and talk about this. So this popped up over on the official channel about 3 days ago, and I'd love to see more of these videos pop up when new classes are coming along. I'm also more excited to see what the next set of classes is going to be, because we now have every class. So essentially, when this class releases, we're going to have every class that they have promised so far. So I am curious to see what the next in PSO2 classes are going to be, but I digress. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. Apologies if the audio seems a little bit off at first. Balancing PSO2 videos when it comes to their audio is always a pain in the neck. Introducing Slayer. All right. Slayer, equip the Gunblade, of course, high-speed combat. We've kind of seen a lot of this stuff beforehand. Nothing too crazy to go here. I should probably full screen this. So they mentioned that changing your attack input with a direction will give you a variety of attacks with one weapon. This is the stay and move arts I mentioned from the previous video. In case you didn't watch that, what I mean by stay and move arts essentially is photon arts that when you don't press any movement key whatsoever, it does one photon art or one ability itself. And move arts, when you press a movement key, it does a different variation of the same photon art. This is just normal attacks, fire forward, range attacks. We expected this to be pretty normal. And the held normal. There's 2 charges, it looks like. Useful for some pre-casting situations. One thing to keep in mind about this, and this was like a point of contention I had with a friend when we talked about this, the weapon action. So this guards enemy attacks with a slash and put a direction to dodge while slashing. Guarding the enemy attack, you slash the attack itself. So if this has like a hitbox that connects with you, you deal damage, which is pretty cool. So you guard with a slash, basically. If you had a movement key, you also use a slash, which also does damage. Photon arts, inputting a direction greatly change each photon art, allowing you to adopt a situation. Got stay and move arts to show the first PA, shifting, spicy, or whatever the hell this is called. Slash and shoot ahead with this combo, so it's very quick. And it looked like there was some gap closing with the first version of this, or at least the second version. Maybe the first version didn't have any gap closing. Yeah, it didn't. It just did a slash plus a shoot. I guess that's the difference between the stay and the move arts version. That seems very quick versus the other one where you slide at your target and then shoot. Okay. Which I imagine you want to use the stay arts version if you're not needing to gap close towards your target. Use this twice in a row to start a powerful chain of attacks. Okay, that's pretty cool. And the movement version is the sweeping AoE. Interesting, okay. Blowing Cirrus is actually a pretty dope attack. Sweeping Regulus, drop a bomb in front of you, and explodes. So that's a bit of AoE. Looks like it's got some pretty high frame commitment versus it being further. So you got some range on your AoE. Waving Regale. No, I think it's called Raving Regulus in game. That's interesting. This is the one where I mentioned, yeah, so you have some upward movement when you're using it. Photon Blast just does its variety of attacks. Summons a pretty cool field that you break. All for show mostly. And then here's the class skills, I believe, right? Yeah, class skills. Dope. So Gunblade Focus is the little thing you build at the bottom. Looks like it gives you PP consumption reduction, or yeah, PP consumption reduction rates and critical hit rate bonuses. After not attacking for a while, it looks like it resets. Does it reset completely? Okay, so that bar at the bottom lets you know how long you have before it'll reset. If it falls to empty, then it goes away. Okay, so it doesn't decay over time. Performing an additional attack by using normal attacks during a PA, this recovers PP. Oh, so that's interesting. Okay, so this is, I think that's what a friend of mine was talking about. So I'm not a fan of comparing everything to Luster, but this is definitely secret tech that was found by players for Luster previously, which was during PAs. If you timed it properly, you could hit a normal attack and you would use like a ranged set of slashes that would allow you to recover some PP. And it was very rhythmic, and there was no like there was no indication for it, and it was really difficult to do consistently, but it looks like they've added in as like a base thing here. So Relentless Blade, perform an additional attack by using normal attack during a PA. This recovers PP and builds up the gauge. So yeah, it looks like it's that, yeah, that blue shine on your attack. And they're showing specifically that you're further away and you can do this. Blade counter, unleash a counter attack after guarding with a weapon action, use a normal attack or weapon action. So yeah, this is like a combination of two different counters. So you have what's it called? You have fighter's counter, where after you press your weapon action, you can then follow up with either a normal attack or weapon action attack. And you also have kind of like braver's counter in a sense, where you have your weapon action counter, which does damage, because it does damage no matter if you're staying still or moving. It is a slash. Keep that in mind. So as long as your target does connect with you. Braver, of course, has the added benefit of their counter automatically shooting something out, and then always does range damage. But you have the option of using a melee or a ranged version. So the ranged version they have is kind of like the hit scan one that Braver's got with their follow-up. Kind of see it here really quick. And they have the weapon action. I believe this is weapon action twice. So weapon action deals damage, does weapon action again. Interesting. So charge blade using a weapon action after a charge normal attack, rapidly approach enemy with the attack. Okay, so this is basically a gap close that you can use after you do a charge normal. Slug shot changes the normal attack after PA with no direction input. Okay. Unleash rage, expend to fire. Hang on. Hold on, what? Oh, you just have a build-up skill. You can only use once per focus gauge is full. Okay, so when you get your focus gauge to max, you pop this. You have 30 seconds of max focus gauge no matter what. Looks like it doesn't decrease at all. And then there's a finish move that you can use that you get access to. I imagine you want to finish with that finish move as close to being done as possible. Okay, and then the wrap up. The idea is that you build up to max as soon as possible, or within a decent amount. Pop your skill. Deal as much damage as you can. And then use that at the end. Now, the one thing I did want to see here really quick. So if we can go to, this is the PAs. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was curious about that. So your Photon Blast looks like it fills up your stuff to max. Yep, it goes to max when you use your Photon Blast. Your gauge gets pushed to max immediately, so you can go into your high damage setup. So ideally, if you're in a situation where you pop that ability and you use the finisher while there's a target down, you want a Photon Blast and then go right back into it again. So there might be some optimization to use with your Photon Blast to maintain being at high levels of gauge, which is interesting. And then that build-up skill that you had as well. I want to see if I can find it in here. Yeah, we did Gunblade Focus. That's whatever. Slug Shot. There it is. Just build up one bar, it looks like. Okay. Nothing too crazy going on there. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, these skills look really, really cool. I'm actually very excited to mess around with these to see how they play out. It's kind of crazy that Focus Overdrive doesn't give you anything back, but using your Photon Blast gives you full focus, which is actually pretty dope. But let me know what you guys think of Slayer so far. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind on this, but I did want to go ahead and give you guys my 2 cents as far as what we're looking at here. I do plan to also release a follow-up on, you know, what you guys should be preparing for Slayer as it's coming out. And I know it's, you know, getting close to when Slayer releases, but realistically, there's not a whole lot to prepare. So don't freak out. Don't believe the hype. People are probably like, oh, you need to get this, that, and the other. It's not that complicated. It's never been that complicated. It's actually very straightforward, and you can get a lot accomplished if you're currently playing the game. But I digress. That is a topic for a completely different video. You go ahead and close out of that. But that's a topic for a completely different video. You guys don't have to worry too much about that. We'll talk about it in the next upcoming videos. But like, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know what you guys think about Slayer. Subscribe when you keep up with more, and I'll see all you wonderful individuals next time. Take care, everyone. Peace out.